Hi everyone.
Good morning.
Morning. So I think we finally have all the speaker submit the talk title so I can start arranging the schedule. So I'll send out the detail for the speaker time slots and the uh, OCP templates and the registration information um, by the end of this week.
Bobby, a quick request. I just realized my return flight from the Global Summit is on Thursday late afternoon. So I need to
Oh,
be I pop 30 dish if I remember correctly, maybe even three. So if you can, assuming I'm still scheduled to talk, if you don't
of
mind to
course.
move
Yeah.
me closer to the beginning, I appreciate it.
Oh, no problem. No problem.
Yeah, thank you.
Glad you're telling me that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, Raymond. It's great. So I'll definitely mark that and ensure you got when would be the latest time uh that you can speak?
Probably around two.
Okay.
Let me take a quick look at my schedule.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, good to know. Just wanted to, make sure that I don't uh mess
Yeah, two
mess
should
up.
be good. Two should
Okay,
be good.
wonderful. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Great. Thanks. Yeah. Good to know. Right. So we have many people here. So this year, I'm not able to uh, go visit the ECOC. I know last year we had a small group gathering at the ECOC, but this year I won't be able to go. So I'm wondering if anyone will show up there, and if if someone would like to maybe organizing a small meetup event.
I'll be at ECOC, but I don't have any way to organize something in terms of a venue or anything of that nature.
You
Yeah,
know,
probably. I also gonna be at Optical.
oh, great. Yeah. Um, so if I don't know if how many people is gonna be there, but if you like to organize any meetup, Michael, if you like to organizing a meetup or Charlie you want to organizing, I think you can send out the email through the SRI group chat. So I guess everybody will be able to receive it.
Well, I think if there's somebody from this group that's at ECOC that works for a company that has a booth, then maybe meeting at the booth at some time would be the easiest thing. Right? We're not going to rent a room or something like that. So,
Yeah. Last year we had that just a small breakfast get together, find a spot and and just have a talk. I think that's pretty enjoyable. So okay. So I think we had the last week we were talking discussing about the Bijan's work for the outline. I think we still uh not able to completely go through the things. Bijan, do you want to express the rest of the thoughts for your modification in the outline?
I mean, I'm willing to, talk about it, but I think that we have, if everyone's taken a look at the changes, I think they're pretty self-evident. And if there's any discussion that we want to have, yeah, let's have it. The reframing of everything was just my opinion on what we needed to do to kind of, move it along and get it to something that's usable. So
Yeah, I read it through and I feel like it is organized. I think throughout that we may missing a little bit of the bullet points to complete the content. I mean, some of the ideas may require some additional small works here and there for finish up the paragraph.
yeah, you may want to post the link in the chat again so everyone has a chance to look at it.
No problem. So let me do it right now. So this link is open up for anyone who has a link. So you should be able to edit or post comments. Anyone with a link. So if you have difficulty to access, please let me know. So I think for the future tech, other text for the OCP, I think I got all the uh, contribution from other groups. So that's a great part. We can pretty much mark that part checked. And
Hey, I was wondering on the Alan Cantle thing, is there maybe some references or links that you should add to, to their project, like whether it be a document or a presentation or a talk or something?
yeah, I should be able to ask him to provide that link. He did some work with it, and I think especially create several very good drawing for the CAD and other rendering. And I believe he did already post something, so should be able to add it in.
Another thing along the lines of this was the recent, I forget what they call it, the universal something or another from Huawei.
Oh, the UB link or something?
Yeah, something, I forget what
UB
it's
mesh,
called.
UB mesh.
There it is, yeah.
Yeah.
Should we should probably discuss that in this document, right? We should probably examine it and add it in here if we're going to add in these other these other texts.
So I mean UB mesh seems a very
There it is.
new one. They
I have
recently just announced it.
Yeah, they call it Unified Bus Interconnect, UBI.
Oh,
And
UBI.
yeah, the UBI has UB mesh, and I made all these notes, but I think there's been some a lot of blogs, tech blogs have reported on this.
Right. Right.
And-
So I think the key things is like how we're gonna present this differently than other tech block, you know, because we probably want to add more point of view from the OCP side, right?
Mhm.
Um,
I guess I could insert a comment.
yeah, please do so. Try to think where would be a good place, because uh, is Peter still here? Uh,
Unified. And I guess
Peter.
they just made their announcement that they made about their roadmap with the Ascend processors depends on this interconnect too.
Right. Peter, do you have any thoughts about that UB mesh compared with the SUE?
Yeah, I don't really have the details of UB mesh. I mean, I could look into it. But yeah, I don't have I haven't really looked into it in depth.
Yeah, because it would be interesting because I think they are all of them are based on the Ethernet, right? And just different protocol.
I put a big comment in there. I don't know if I put it in the right place though. I put it under future tech.
Oh, future tech. Is- Yeah. Cool.
Maybe it's not future tech though, huh? Because they're doing it.
Yeah.
Now that I think about it, maybe it's not future tech. So do we have a section on different choices? So maybe it goes in section 3. So those are 5 types of things. We don't really talk about protocols so much. Like we don't have UA link.
Right. Yeah, I think the original draft on this
Oh yeah, okay.
outline.
Yeah, in
I-
section 1 we say there are different types of protocols, right? We have UA link,
right.
SUE, so
That's
on.
what I'm.
But we don't really go into any kind of deep dive on any of the requirements of these protocols.
I think the deep dive into the protocol is a things that kind of becomes like a use case, right? And originally what I picture this is all these protocol you can simplify it as come back to the things I think you mentioned it in somewhere that about either the XPU to XPU or XPU to switch or switch to switch. Either it's a second level to third level switch or just one level switch. So
So let me ask this question. So I'm just thinking about, we have section 3 and the title of this area is what are the different choices of interface architectures that could be used for scale up and how do they compare? So then the bullet points there talks about retiming, talks about form factor placement, which is, co-package, near package, whatever. And then they have taxonomy of short reach optics. So maybe somewhere at the top there should be like, you know, scale up architecture, because maybe those scale up architectures have some biases as far as like what's a better solution for them, right? Like, so I don't know, like, you know, SUE, right? There's no explicit need to have any specific, you know, type of photonics architecture. Like, you know, you don't have to have CPO, NPO, whatever. But when you get to UA link, now it starts to look like you might need something else, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Just throwing it out there. If it makes sense to add that there.
That's a good point. I was thinking about like how should we put it in here or should we put it in the in the chapter ones that um that
Yeah.
break down for different connections, then
I mean, that's a good question. Yeah. So
yeah,
is it if we put it in chapter 1, that would imply that those types of scale up or scale out, scale up, scale across, whatever, are driving, you know, the topologies of photonics? Or if we put it lower down in here, that just means that there could be any type of topology, you know, scale up, scale across, whatever, and that's independent of, you know, short reach optics, phi level stuff. I don't know. I'm just trying to think through it here, like where are the right places for it?
yeah. Yeah, it's a things that might need to spend some time to think about it. I'll just put a note in here so I won't forget.
Mike, are you on the call?
Hello? Yeah.
Hey, Michael, do you have an opinion on this? I mean, does it make sense to have it? Where would it make sense to have this kind of discussion?
Are you
Or
asking,
does it make
who are you
does it
asking?
make sense? I was just asking you if you had an opinion on if it made sense to dive into the different types of, you know, scale up and scale out requirements and see how they drive the photonic, if they
Well, I
drive the
think scale
photonics.
out is going to be satisfied by the more traditional optical solutions, and the reaches are longer. So this whole initiative is really about what happens either within one rack or, you know, maybe rack to rack, which is really much more in the scale up domain. So, you know, there's many different photonic and optical interconnect organizations that are working on better ways to do scale out networking.
So should we have like a discussion in the very front part with the scale up types like SUE, UA link, and then this new UB mesh proposal?
I would think that the GPU, or XPU interconnect protocols are an important component to this paper, and I think that maybe outlining problems with putting some of those protocols over photonics should be addressed. Because
That convinces me,
Ethernet
yes.
deals with lots of things, you know, that have been designed to support photonic transmission. Some of those other protocols may or may not. Right? I mean, PCIe, I think, had a lot of problems in developing, or the people putting PCIe over optics had to deal with a lot of problems where PCIe wasn't designed to deal with photonic transmission.
Mhm. All right, I'll add it in as a placeholder. Um, Bobby.
Yeah, I I think Mike's suggestion is good, and if that putting on the XPU to XPU connections or specifically for these scale up network, either XPU to switch or switch to switch, XPU to XPU to direct connections, those kind of things would probably, it's better to put at the first chapter, I feel, first sessions, because that will be uh that will be the part that before going down to any photonics. Okay, so I think uh for the white paper, thanks for people to able to contribute. I think the editor committee I will send out a separate emails uh, for form a smaller group meetings to just working on the assemble the whole things together. So stay tuned. And so that's it's probably since we still have time, I'd like to uh, bring up some discussions what's post this white paper things. It was start thinking about the idea what we can do after meeting the white paper requirements and would like to share my thoughts. I had a chance to discuss with Cliff, and I had a chance to talk with Ryan earlier. So we're thinking about moving on the in the post the future tech. So it becomes like a two different paths, right? If we want to continuously stay in the fairly research area, then it's probably stay in the future tech. But if we want to move on to maybe help define some spec for the OCP, then we can graduate from the future tech and find uh, a, a new place to working on, and maybe Bijan had better uh, experience than this before, because you were the you had a better view for the OCP earlier. So please help me to chip in a little bit things that maybe things that I didn't view before. I was thinking, and I did talk to Ryan earlier. Share some bouncing some idea is if we move on, this is my personal thoughts. I would like to share it and see if everybody interest is maybe we can working with other group. For example, the something like Alan's universal interconnect things that was specifically defined for the OCP cases, especially OCP been working on the rack levels, define something like a UBB. So maybe we can define a specific optics connector for using in specially made it with OCP system. So the open rack system, fitting something you can develop in the UBB. So so one of the idea that we bring up was maybe have something like an MPO style of things that could be that's why I bring up the universal interconnect. It's probably sharing very simple, but what interconnect is using the MCIO connector, and I don't know if that would be the good one to continuously using it, especially fitting into the optics. But you know the idea that something that can be some connector that can be both sharing with copper and the optics, but it's onboard near package things can be easily replaced. Um, and uh, and we can define uh, the the pin map, uh, the speed, the interface, the shape, maybe even uh, the heat dissipation better fitted into the open rack system, something like that. I know that OIF has an MPO defined before, but that one is kind of out of date. I feel it's been defined many years ago. Um, so I don't know, just throw something out. What's everybody's thoughts?
I guess I'll break the silence. I would vote to, to take action. And so to take action would be to absolutely define common things for photonics. I think that's important. If we can get, consensus with everybody on these calls and, more people in the OCP community, we can build a critical mass of people that agree that, hey, this is the right connector to attach to this, or this is the right requirements for that. OAF does have some of the scope in their bag right now, but what they don't have is a systems approach, and OCP has a systems view of things. And I think the success of, silicon photonics in the near term is going to depend on the ability for end customers to consume it and apply it to systems. So I do think this is within the scope of OCP, and I think that this is the right way to go about it. I think, and I don't think you have to be grandiose and, think in terms of, reinventing connectors or whatever. Maybe it's just setting the requirements for what they should be, or something like that, and then letting people step up or companies step up and propose things might be a good way to go about it. But so I guess in general, I'm trying to say is I support your idea. I think it's good, but I think it needs to be very, I, I, I would suggest it be very focused and and come as the result of this work should be specifications that the whole, community can use, and not something just specific to our view of things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'll chime in a little bit since Bobby mentioned, this is Ryan from TerraHub. So I do think there's a little bit of missing element right now in the optical community to at least present a more open socket approach to optics, particularly for a scale up, where I think the value there is pretty concentrated. We want to make sure we define something the community can use and mitigate all these potential risks if it's like complete vertical integrated approach. So I support this idea. So we can further discuss. Thank you.
Thanks, Ryan. Yeah, I think it agree with Bijan said it requires some critical math to bring it up. Yeah, I just throw another idea here. Don't have to be response immediately, but if you have any thoughts, just please bring it up. And because it's a community, so requires everyone's uh, efforts, no matter it's just big contributions or even just some comments. Uh, please share it and bring it in. Um,
Hey, I'm gonna throw this one out there too. There's a tension between um, OAF and IEEE um, because of just some laws of physics, right? So we are not converging on waveforms. And I think that one thing that's just ignored in these conversations, I mean, yeah, we can talk about the Nyquist bandwidth and the improvements you get with one modulation over the other, whatever, fine. But one thing that we're not doing is considering the system's requirements. And so let's say that the OAF comes back and proposes like a PAM6 type of modulation and so on. And I'm not trying to make a judgment here, but I'm just saying that without considering what the connectivity requirements are to a switch or whatever, that puts this kind of gearboxing or adaptation problem somewhere in the link that's no one's talking about. So I do think this is an opportunity for this, for leadership, right? To kind of propose something and put a line in the ground, stake in the ground before anyone kind of creates a mess and that the whole industry has to go clean up. Just my 2 cents.
Hey, Bijan, I like your idea to start at the systems level. In OCP for a project like this, do you think we can take an OCP system and work within that, say, an existing system design and say we're going to work on the next speed increment and what it would look like and just make it very tangible and collaborate with the system team on that?
That's what I would do. That's completely what I would do.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I think that is I agree. That's a unique opportunity. We would effectively be like one of the vertically integrated organizations designing the box, except we're open, right? So I think this is really a very interesting approach.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think we're out of time, but I'm just throwing something. My final thoughts about this is there are from my understanding, I've been trying to go through different group by group. I know that the boxes, for example, the UBB group, or there's a NIC group, and also there's a rack group. I know rack group is a lot of mechanical designs and coolings and other things, and power supply. And we have the UBB group that is working on the backbones and other things, and the NIC is trying to define the connections. And I do see that why Alan Cantos try to find universal connections, that because he's thinking about, oh, we have so many things that have to convert, and if that can be easily translated, one connector that can be picked from coppers or optics easily, because the connector is the same. So for the system designer, they only have to put one, but it can be easily adapt depending the length of the connection. And so that's why I think in the unique for the OCP that we're just working on the open system, and there's many places that requires a very high speed connections. So it is very unique, and we can thinking about how we can move on for the next chapter.
Yeah,
Well,
Bobby, I go to the NIC, and recently I also go to the Rack and Power. I don't think this discussion should go there. It should be even higher level. You may end up someplace like maybe the DCMHS, I don't know. Bijan may know a little bit more. But risking going into a little bit more detail, I don't think MCIO as it is will be able to serve the scale up, to be honest. Is extremely challenging at Gen 7, which is 128 gig. And without some really major improvement, making it to 200G is difficult. I mean,
Yeah.
I see in attendance, Envanor and Molex also here, right? So they may want to chime in, but I totally agree that this is a very good opportunity for us to look at the problem, starting with 200G and maybe moving to 400G. But I don't think we want to restrict ourselves with something that is already out there, such as MCIO. We may need something that hasn't been developed yet, or maybe already developed, but it's not out in the public yet.
Yeah,
That's my 2 cents.
Well,
think-
as you guys know, the system architects are supposed to, they're trying very hard to pack things in enclosures. And they have these challenges. There are laws of physics kind of challenges. The two main technologies that can help them, one has been liquid cooling to let them pack things in smaller places. And now with the work that we're doing here is giving them for places at a little farther distances within a vicinity. Short reach optic is very interesting. It's very different from long hauls, so that the system designers can place things at 0.5 meter, 1 meter, or whatever that otherwise they could not do. And therefore, the system architecture would look different. Disaggregation become real. That's
Yeah,
what I'm really interested in is short reach optics effort. And what I keep looking for is small structures and many ports, basically increasing the radix of everything. And photonics is a method to do that. So that's perhaps why we're here, to make smaller structures that are still very useful.
Yeah, I'll further add that that's exactly optics actually break free for designer to design multi-rack system rather than constrained within just one rack and try to pack everything in there. I think that's exactly the value I think we should bring out, right? So I think that's from system architecture point of view, will be good to actually invite and consumers or users or architect even to think about how to build a multi-rack scale up system without encumbered by just only in one rack.
Yeah. So we're out of time. Thanks for the discussion here today. I'll poke for the committees and also share some additional information for the speaker. The Global Summit is less than a month now. Hope to see you all soon. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.